evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Taylor and Terry ILous, how are you?
Good, 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 Sean. Very good.
Well, I'm glad you could come on. I'm a big fan of your voice for many years and many different projects you've been on. Um, and I want to say now I'm kind of really digging things because it really feels even now that you've kind of broken free from that the shadow and all the nuttiness before from the Great White debacle. You're a couple solo albums. You got something really hot now with George Lynch out there. Like you've got so much going on now. It feels like you're more. It feels like you're more out there as you, without compromising. Is that kind of
No,
true?
no, Sean, you're right. I've been working a lot. I think outside the box all the time. Um, Meaning I'm always looking for something to do first of all, and then
Mhm.
something to do that's a little bit different. I don't want to do the same thing over and over again because I get bored easily.
Right.
Um, so I do different projects. Yes, I'm working with George on we work together on a song, and then we're gonna be working on some other songs coming up. Really, really good songs actually. And I'm working with different things. I still have my Latin project. In fact, I'm recording some songs in Spanish coming up. Uh, so and a couple of songs in French as well for someone. Sometimes I sing in languages I don't always understand. Like I recorded a song in Italian, and I recorded the song in Italian. I don't speak Italian at all. I understand few words because it's very similar to it's a Latin language, so very similar to French and Spanish. But
Yeah.
I um, I was a bit lost, but a friend of mine helped me, and it was okay. I mean, did it sound puro Italiano? No, it didn't. But it was good enough for people to say, "Oh, I know what he's talking about." It's good enough, and there's nothing wrong with a little bit of an accent when you sing a different language, in a different language. So it was all right. I sang in Hebrew. I don't know what the heck I was talking about, but I had the phonetic, and
Yeah.
um, I sang in different languages. As a singer and voiceover artist, you have
Uh-huh.
to adjust. You can't just you can't be too comfortable, and that's one thing I always say to all the people I work with. I have some students, I teach, and
Hmm.
I said you can't be too comfortable. Challenge yourself all the time, um, and it's very scary to challenge yourself because you're like, I don't know if I can do it. It's beyond my limits. But you know what? We are only here for a little while on this earth, and time flies so fast. So if we don't accomplish certain things, if we stay too comfortable in our bubbles, um, I mean, it's okay for some, but it's not okay for me.
No, I mean, I think you're a pretty ambitious guy, and I think the output of work is even better. And I always love the fact that I love when a singer does different languages. I think it's really cool. And I always wondered what the challenges would be like. Um, so George Lynch, like a full album or like a full project or like because George does a lot of full albums and he does a lot himself.
George is very busy, and
He
I'm
is.
very busy. So we both have very busy schedules. I don't know about an album. I know we're taking it two songs at a time. Put it this way.
Yeah. Did you see the
Um,
reactions to people with you two together?
the
Oh my
rea-
God, heads are exploding. I'm just telling you. If you haven't read it online,
no,
seriously,
I
people
tried.
are. Yeah, I
Sean,
get it.
I got to be honest with you. I try not to go online and read the comments because sometimes I used to do that, and sometimes it strokes your ego. You're like, oh, I'm so good, and
Yeah,
then sometimes it gets you upset. So I tend not to read that anymore.
I get that. I get that. You don't need that negative in your life, but there's actually negative or positive.
Yeah,
What I've seen is people are very excited. The thought they're like, why did this happen sooner? So there is a
I
voice
think
of people
Georgian,
talking.
it happened. It almost happened 20 years ago, but we had some differences. Um, we were 20 years younger, so and we were a bit hard-headed, and maybe I was as well. I will have to admit, and I was going through a very difficult. 20 years ago, I was going through a very difficult period of my life because pretty much at the same time I lost a child and I lost my dad at the same time. So
Oh God.
I didn't have I was not in a best how can I say a disposition to do anything positive, and I was kind of a negative person, I think.
I could see that. I don't even know how to deal with that. I can't even.
So yeah, so I we got together and it didn't work out, and I apologized to him a few times. I said, I was a different man, and time helped me and healed, and I think I'm a better man now than ever before. I think from experience in general, when things happen to you, you have to see the universe or God. Some people believe in God, universe, whatever you call it, sends you messages, and it's for you to read them. It's for you to understand the message and also
Mhm.
read between the lines. What can you get out of this situation? Sometimes just not much, but sometimes there's a growing aspect, and from a moment, from something that happens to you, a tragedy or a good thing. So it doesn't matter. If something happens to you, positive or negative, well, you need to grow from that. You need to understand that. You need to see what's I would say what's in it for me. In a way that not in a pretentious way, but how can I
Right.
grow? And for every experience, even the great white experience, for example, you have to grow from that and you have to learn from that and say, how can I become a better person? Uh, and that's very important. Instead of dwelling in the negative and just say, why me, why me, why me? Um, well, our first reaction is to dwell in the negative. What did I do wrong? When did I? It's very normal. But then I think as a man or woman, you have to grow and say, what can I do to better myself and move forward? Because
Hmm.
life is about moving forward and you know achieving different things. That's
Yeah.
that's that's what it is.
Well, and I think you've carried it, but like, obviously, you're very you've grown to be in very control of your thought as who you are, and that's always important as we get older. I wish I knew stuff now that I knew when I was younger, just some of the wisdom. Um, but even growth, you were in a good spot. Even I think even when the Great White thing happened, because you really didn't say much. You didn't. It wasn't really. You kind of walked away looking good. Actually, everybody, you know what I mean? Like a gentleman is how you know.
Well, I don't like
But
to to
it could have gotten worse, and it didn't need to. And I think it's been appreciated. I appreciate lack of that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Well, thank you. I don't think the fans need to hear
No.
the to see the dirty laundry. Why did somebody that you know? I the Great White experience was a wonderful experience when it lasted. I
Hmm.
had a tremendous time performing with the guys. Um, I really appreciate Sean. Sorry, I really appreciate
You can
Audie.
appreciate me.
I really appreciate Audie and Scotty very, very much. I appreciate the Great White team very much. It was a great experience. The fans were wonderful. It was very challenging because, um, you have to understand Jack Russell is a great singer. He
Yeah.
has accomplished a lot of great things, and replacing a great one is never easy. People don't accept you right away. It's like a new marriage, for example, your husband or your wife, whatever, they move on and they're connecting with somebody else.
Right.
Or the kids or the friends gonna say, "Well, he's not as good as the other one," whatever.
Right.
So at first it was very, very challenging. I had a lot of uh, things I had to deal with. But in the end, the fans loved it. I loved it. Every show was sold out. I think we did 530 shows, and I do believe 80% of them were completely sold out or oversold out. Um, the band was here, and then when I left, the band was there. And
Yeah, I think you sound great. I mean, you don't compete with a certain voice. You can't. Your voice is good. They're just different. Like so ridiculous to try being like if somebody wanted you to come in and be like Jack. You know,
well,
that's not why get you. That's not who you are.
it's again, I appreciate. It was a great opportunity. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. With a great white, I chatted with the guys not so long ago. I emailed Bridget not so long ago regarding a project that I was asked to be a part of for a film.
Hmm.
I just wrote a few songs, 4 songs for a movie coming up this year. And so, yeah, absolutely, I have a great relationship with the band. I'm glad they have Brett as a singer. I think Brett is a wonderful guy. He's a buddy of mine, first of all, and he does a great job. I'm glad Jack Russell is doing great. I'm glad everybody's happy. You know what, Sean? In the end, I'm happy for everyone, and I move on and I do my thing, and I'm like, well, I hope I'm going to be happy too, and that's all. That's what it is.
Well, I'm glad you guys are that way. I think even at one point, Mark, I don't usually get into it, but like Mark actually was on my show, and I said to him, I said, this, I don't usually get into these kind of things. I said, but I'll be honest with you, the way this went down, I go, it's pressed as all different things, but your stars, what happened? Because it doesn't seem very cool. Like you guys would do that, and he admitted it wasn't very cool, and it was an accident the way they had a communication, but he did admit that it came off wrong. So to
It's
me, I felt
okay.
like no, no, I'm saying, but it felt like it was wrong, but it felt like at least it was a step forward that for him to admit it. Like you know what I mean? But like, yeah, this probably wasn't the best way
Well,
for healing for
Mark's a good
everybody.
guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Mark's a good guy. Mark has something very special. Mark is Mark Kendall, and I've always said that he's got a sound with his in his fingers.
yeah.
He sounds like Mark Kendall, and that's what it is, and that's what it's all about. That's what I like his sound. I think he's a great guitar player, and he's a funny guy. Actually, he's got an interesting sense of humor, and
Yeah,
but I wasn't. I was close to him, but I was really close to Scotty and Audie.
yep,
We were the three stooges together. We used to always be together, and uh and till this day I'm still friends with them. In fact, I did a show not so long ago with Scotty in Las Vegas. I just love Scotty. I love Audie. They're my
that's good.
friends. Yeah.
It's nice to see it. I enjoy when bands that I like get along. And they work through things.
Wow.
It makes sense. So Jack and actually Brett and All or Nothing. What a great
Why not?
no wait, but it's really cool because it shows it like it's all good. Like if the three of you
I think
guys could do a song together, it's all good.
I think people. I like to sing. I like to be on stage with Brett. I think he's got a lot of energy. Reminds me of a younger version of myself. Uh, and he's got. I mean, I don't mean that in a demeaning way for him whatsoever. I think he's got his own
Oh,
talent and everything.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's great, and he's got a bright future. And I enjoy the kid. I mean, I enjoy being on stage with him. I enjoy being on stage with AON. They're 21 years old. They kick my ass every night. They keep me on my toes. Put it this way, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it's just fantastic to be on stage with those kids. And then we do shows with George. We bring George on stage.
yeah.
We have a show going on between AON, myself, and George, and it's a 4 hour show. So it's not like
Wow.
well, we start by doing AON does their thing,
Hmm.
for 45 minutes. Then the Brett leaves the stage, and I come and the guys in AON perform XYZ with me. So we do a bunch of XYZ songs for
Hmm.
like another 45 to an hour usually. Then we take a 15-minute break. George comes on stage. We do 6 to 7 to sometimes 8 uh, Lynch song, which is either Darken, mostly Darken, because I'm a big Darken fan, and and Lynch Mob as well. But I'm a really big Darken fan. And then so we do that, and then after that, George does his thing with Lynch Mob. So it's a 4 hour event, and I can tell you that every show has been sold out. I mean, way over sold out. I mean, it's just like, wow, it's amazing. And I enjoy performing with George. He's an interesting character. I mean, he's super bright. George is very bright. He's got a um, interesting. I love his sense of humor. Sometimes I don't get if he's
It
joking or
seems like
not.
he has a dry sense of humor. I like that. He's very quick
Oh, man.
witted.
Well, because
I've seen it in interviews lately, and it's really funny.
he's very intelligent. George Lynch is extremely intelligent, but I enjoy performing the Darken songs because Darken produced my first album,
Yep.
and I've always had a thing for Don. In fact, I sent him a message a couple of days ago. I says, sometimes it's true that the band XYZ we were kind of dicks, so would you, I mean, but honestly, it was mostly out of insecurity because we were so impressed by you, by what you have accomplished, and we were just brand new, 20-year-old kid, and we're dealing with a cat that has accomplished so much, has sold millions of albums, and we were impressed. And I've always loved Don Darkin's voice. I think he's underrated. He's fucking great. He's not good. He's fucking great. I mean, I'm singing his songs nowadays, and I'm like, wow, you know, the melodies are really good. That's why I have always loved Dawkins. XYZ have always loved Dawkins, always. And Lynch, of
You
course,
know,
George Lynch.
right,
Don's got a beautiful voice,
right.
especially when he sings ballads. He's the king of ballads.
Hmm.
And I know because I do that song. One of his songs I do is Alone, you know?
Hello again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alone Again. And I had to work on the song. And the way I prepare a song is I get the track, the backing track, and I go in my studio and I use the backing track and I sing the song the first time the way it was written and sang by the artist, and then I give it my own little thing because I want to do my thing because this is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, and I listen to his melodies and his phrasing, and I'm like, it's really good stuff. I mean, it's really it's to the point. It's simple. It's nicely done. It's Don Darkin has a great sense of melody, and that's what I've always loved about his voice. You know,
It's nice also because I mean you're working on original stuff, but you also enjoy doing doc and stuff. You enjoy doing that. You did, is it Gypsy Dreams? Right, Dreams, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Dreams.
yeah, the flamenco
I was
stuff. Yeah,
actually listening to that today before we spoke, and so you really love to show your favorite, like all these songs you cover, that you celebrate other songs.
yeah, you got to celebrate other artists. We as an artist, we move on and we become someone because of the influences that we have from another artist. For example, I really love, of course, Robert Plant. I mean, who doesn't? But
Right.
I never wanted to copy Robert Plant, but I because of what he brought to the music, I was able to say, okay, I'm going to take a little bit from him and a little bit from that one and this one, and I'm gonna mix it up, and then I'm gonna become Terry, and you know what I mean, versus an artist that would completely copy the artist. You know what I mean? Just oh, I'm gonna be a little clone. I'm gonna sound like just like Robert Plant. No, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna take a little bit from him. I love his tone, beautiful tone, and I'm going to take a little bit of this. But you don't ask, you don't tell yourself, I'm going to take from this. It just happened naturally. You know what I mean? Like I listened to R&B when I was much younger, and I
Mhm.
still love our older R&B like Temptations and James
Yeah.
Brown and I don't sound authentically like an
Oh,
R&B singer, of course not, and I don't look like one either. But I definitely, if I sing a song by Tina Turner, for example, I was asked to do a Tina Turner song not so long ago. I had that soul right away that came back. I was like, now, was it authentic? No, but it's good enough.
that's a good that's a good philosophy. That's a good philosophy with it. But and it's great. So the album Gypsy Dreams was only a couple of years ago, and then COVID kind of mushed everything together as far as releases and promoting your stuff and touring it. So have you incorporated a lot of that, kind of carry over that? Because in 2017 you had album too, so I mean you started to be more prolific with just projects. A couple other singles came out since then. Um, I Won't Back Down is really really great. Another interesting, good choice of cover too. I wouldn't have expected that one. I was very pleased. I like when you get a song you don't expect an artist to do. You never thought of their voice with it, and you hear it and you go, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. That was like a fun find. That song.
Thank you. I like to, when I do a cover, I believe it's very difficult to beat the original, and the
Right.
original is the original. So why do we just like the original? That's my philosophy. Now, some people disagree, and that's fine with me. Um, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't like to do to cover a song just like the original because I believe I'm never going to be as good as the original. So I give it my own twist. And when I did the Gypsy Dream album, I did a song by of course, Ronnie Dio, which I
Hmm.
adore. I love Ronnie James' voice, Ronnie James Dio's voice. I didn't want to make it just like his thing. I didn't want to copy him because I thought it was an insult. Now, just to let you know, I've been asked many, many times to be part of a cover album. Oh, we're gonna cover a
Right.
Journey
Yeah.
album. I said, well, great. Can I give it my own interpretation? He said, no, you got to do just like the original. Then what do you need me for? You got Steve Perry. He's the greatest singer. What do you need me for?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to do better than Steve. Why do you want to hear Josh Moore cover Steve Perry? Why? Especially the way it was written and sang, same intonation. What for?
Yeah.
You have the original and it's the greatest ever. So, no, if I do a cover song, I got to give it my own twist. Otherwise, not interested.
Well, at that point, when they're doing that, it's all about the commodity. If you resell the song on a new album, the
Yeah,
copyright, the rights are different. I mean, for some companies, that's what the value is. You want to keep it original. I like that about that. I mean, why would you? I think when you sing a cover, you should present how the song makes you feel. Usually, hopefully, it's similar to their song, so you're on the same page, because that could be a little ridiculous. But if you're in
no,
the
of
same
course.
honor, and you're honoring that song and how you feel, and you feel like what you hear, then that's it. That's all you can do.
I mean, look at a version by Joe Cocker Ringo Starr came up with a song years ago with a little
Yeah.
yeah, what was the name of that song?
Well, help my friends.
Yeah, it was a great version.
Mhm.
Great version. I love it. It sounds great. Ringo Starr did such a great job. Okay,
Yeah.
here comes Joe Cocker. Completely different vibe.
Mhm.
It's amazing. Also, was it better? No. But was it different? Yes.
Yes, yes, but that's what he heard. That's why it felt authentic. I mean, his
Yeah,
voice is
and
just ridiculous. He has a ridiculous voice too, but I mean, that's how he heard. He put it
I
out there.
wouldn't imagine Joe Cocker singing, "Oh, what do 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 do." No way. Joe Cocker was also one of the greatest.
Oh yeah,
And
I agree. I agree.
yeah. I mean, there's so many great singers out there, which is good because it keeps one humble. Trust me. I mean, when people say, "Who's your favorite singer?" I said, "I don't have one. They're all great." I mean, there's so many great singers out there. How can you consider yourself the greatest, or how can you consider one the greatest? I mean, well, Steve is one of the greatest for his genre of music. Steve
Hmm.
Perry, of course.
Yes.
So is Robert Plant. So is they're all the greatest. There's no the ultimate great doesn't exist.
It's a,
I appreciate it. I listen to some singers from different countries, sometimes from African singers. I love East African singers. I love Indian singers. They have a different phrasing. If you listen to their phrasing, it's
yeah.
really amazing. I also listen to country music. I love country music. The way they phrase. In fact, I'm writing country music right now for some artists. I was just, a few minutes ago. I was writing a song for someone. I was trying to write a song for someone, but um, it's a different phrasing. I was thinking, okay, the melody has to go this way, and they have to repeat the chorus. The tag has to come this way. But if you listen to East African singers, the way they're phrasing, it's really difficult. Or Indian difficult, rock difficult. You just have to listen to all of them
Hmm.
and take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's like when you're making a dish, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then you make it your own. And here you go.
The country thing, it makes me laugh because I heard this. I was like, I got to ask you, Don Henley, when you do the cover of Don Henley song, it sounds a little country in the chorus, especially in your voice. It does feel like it has a. I mean, Don Henley was the Eagles. The Eagles was more or less like Southern California Rocky. You know what I mean? So it's kind of countryish as it is in a way. But the way you sang it, am I onto something or am I totally off base?
Oh no, you're right. I mean, I'm a big believe it or not. Some people are gonna say what the heck, but I'm a big country fan. I love country music. I love old country music. I'm
Well,
not too
that's what I'm
crazy.
say. Not the arena rock country music now.
I don't like the country music nowadays. I got to be honest with
Right.
you. I like the old style. I like George Strait. I like
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, all those
Yeah.
guys. Johnny,
Josephus. Yeah.
Patsy Cline, all those. I love those. They had some of the greatest lyrics. First of all, I'm always amazed. Some of the
Songwriting.
lyrics, yeah, songwriting was. I'm like, how can they come up with so many beautiful lyrics? Gorgeous. So I love old country music style
Yeah.
from
Right.
50s, 60s, 70s. After that, it became cheesy. I'm like, not my style. Especially, well, 80s was still good. There was some great song. After that, nowadays it's like basically listening to Def Leppard with a violin and a twinging guitar. That's basically it. You know what I mean? Which by the way, I'm a big fan of Def Leppard.
I don't know.
Def Leppard. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
No,
And
but the sound came out like the Shania Twain and Mutt Lange and Def Leppard. Next thing you know, it all that sound also worked for Shania Twain. So next thing you know, ushering in, I think the arena rock sound.
Yeah, she's the number one selling artist, number one country selling artist of all time.
Doesn't surprise me.
She's she's really I admire her so much. I've always wanted to meet her. I never had the chance. She's extremely talented. I love her story. She's a
Yeah,
beautiful story about her life, how where she grew up in Canada and everything. Um, I'm a big fan of hers. Big fan. I'm also a big fan of Sheryl Crow. Uh,
yeah,
I'm, Sheryl Crow is one of my all-time favorite female singer. I love the way she writes. I really love the way she writes. I never had the chance to meet her, but I'd like to sit down with her and chit chat a bit with her and pick up my guitar and say, "Can we write something together?" Uh, Sheryl Crow has always been. I'm a big fan. So if anybody out there knows Sheryl Crow, big fan, and they
yeah.
could introduce me to her, please don't hesitate. I'll send you my phone number. And for Shania Twain, I can give you my email address, no problem. Okay, don't
Yeah,
forget that.
yeah. I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem giving that out.
She's gonna give me
Um,
a call tomorrow morning.
you
Thank
never
you.
know. You could. I've connected other people on the show. Just tell you
Well,
that.
I mean, I'm a big fan of hers. I had the pleasure of meeting Celine Dion once at a show,
Hmm.
uh, and great singer. Oh my God,
Yeah, I
Again, this Sean, there's so many great singers. You can only stay humble and say, oh my God, and do what you do,
yeah.
putting heart into it, and that's it. That's all you can do.
That's awesome. So right now, so fans really can go to the website of yours. Obviously, I'll put the link underneath it. Keep up with you. Facebook, so you're more current on Facebook, it seems, right? That's probably the
Yeah,
best place for you.
I'm always on Facebook. I have a TikTok account under my name and everything. The reason I don't really use TikTok is every time I post a song on TikTok,
Yeah,
they remove the music,
yeah,
and they don't get it. They say I would write a song and post the music, and they remove the music. I'm like, I sent them so many messages. I'm like, this is my freaking song, and they won't. So I'm like, whatever. So I
yeah.
just once in a while I post something on TikTok, not so much. I use Instagram and Facebook a lot.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm on social media a lot, and I usually answer my own messages. I get
Yeah,
messages every day, um, tens of messages every day, um, and I take a few minutes. It's part of my day, and I go through all my messages, and I might answer even just a few words.
yeah,
Yes, no, appreciate it, blah blah blah, and I move on. I think people we're much more connected to the fans nowadays.
yes,
Um, um, as artists between artists and fans were much more it's easier to be connected to
yeah,
an artist nowadays because of the internet. Back then it was a mystery. Oh my God, how can you talk to so and so? Never. Nowadays it's easier. Look at the way
it,
you
it is
got a hold
easier.
of, you know what I mean? So um
Those are the
it's
great places, and your the original music we're thinking of is the closest right now. It's just you're putting your energy into when you have time with
yeah.
George for now.
No, I'm looking to working with George. I think George is one of the greatest guitar player of our era, of our time, by far.
Hmm.
Um, because George takes chances. I told that to him the other day when we were touring. I said, what I really like about your guitar playing is you you take a chance. You're not afraid to 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 explore. When he does a thing, sometimes he does things he's not even know where it's gonna go. And I
Yeah,
know that for a fact. I listen to his guitar playing, and he goes somewhere. It's like, I don't know what's gonna go. Oh, I fucked up. Fuck it. Who cares? You know what I mean? And oh, I did great, great. I like that about him because George takes chances. He's not the kind of guy that's just gonna do the same thing every night. And he's gonna when he jams, he really jams. He explores. I think he's freaking brilliant. He's a brilliant guitar player. And there are other great guitarists as well.
yeah.
There's so many great guitarists, but George, the difference between George and many others is he takes chances. And I love that. He thinks outside the box, just like I do. And that's why probably we connect. And he's a bit sarcastic, and I love that.
So as a fan, I'd like to say, hopefully you guys will do the whole album because all that
Well,
material would be enjoyable, you know?
I you know, it's very challenging to work with George Lynch because he's brilliant. You know, he's brilliant. Seriously, it's very
Yeah.
very challenging. I'm like, I'm on my best behavior with him. I'm like, man, gotta be. When I sing on stage, I'm like, I'm gonna have to be good tonight. You know, and I prepare myself. I work out. I'm like, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do. I'm like, I gotta be like Rocky. Yeah, how you doing, Rocky? Yeah.
That's good invitation. That's awesome. But yeah, I want to thank you. I've enjoyed your music for years, and I'll take a few minutes to chat with you and sharing the excitement of me just coming across the George Lynch thing together too at the same time was perfect. You
Thank
know.
you very much. You know, thank you very much.